The Fallen and the Virtuous Episode 2 is finally here. Just a month after the first one dropped and sent shockwaves through the Yu-Gi-Oh community, and today we're diving deep into every single Easter egg, hidden reference, and lore detail you might have missed. And before we begin, I'm gonna say it now. This show is absolutely setting up for a Season 2. Yeah, I know it's very early to say, but based on the pacing of the show and the story left to be told, there's no other way around a Season 2, so fingers crossed. As always, shout out to Nix the Branded, as always, for his great contribution to the Branded lore and this video's script. You can follow him on Twitter or talk to him in person in our own free-to-join Discord server where we talk about Branded, card lore, and of course, the Yu-Gi-Oh card game in general. Link in the description below. Now, let's get into breaking down Episode 2 of The Fallen and the Virtuous. And also, we're getting into spoiler territory in this episode, so if you want to keep some secrets to the future, then consider coming back another time, but we're going to try to break this down as spoiler-free as possible. But be warned. Episode 2 opens right where the last one ended, with ALBAZ wounded on the ground, lying in a massive crater in the middle of Dogmatica's streets. That crater caused by none other than his dragon form Titanica the Ash Dragon, crashing into the city after his clash with Fleur-de-Lis. Above him stands Ecclesia, the saint of the Dogmatica Church, looking down at him with concern. And right away, we're reminded of the stakes here. Dogmatica doctrine considers anyone without the stigmata, the glowing holy mark on the forehead, a heretic. In their eyes, heretics have no place among the living, no questions, and no exception. That's why Fleur-de-Lis just attacked ALBAZ in Episode 1 the moment she saw him. No conversation and no hesitation, immediate judgment and punishment. But Ecclesia, she hesitates, she offers mercy. Even after seeing the destruction caused by the dragon, she kneels beside ALBAZ and asks if he's alright, choosing empathy in direct defiance of her faith. And she also talked about this with Fleur in Episode 1, talking about the option of peace with the heretics and not war. That contradiction is at the heart of Ecclesia's character. Despite her high status in the Dogmatica Church, she follows her own heart, not the doctrine. And that's exactly what sets her apart and sets the stage for the conflicts to come. As Ecclesia draws closer to ALBAZ, she realizes ALBAZ is not a human at all. This is confirmed later by the Tri-Brigades as well, but the visual hint was already there in Episode 1. We see ALBAZ's cape rise up through the wind to reveal dragon scales along his back. This is a unique touch to the anime and not shown in the card artworks at all, but it connects directly to his monster typing. ALBAZ, at his core, is still a dragon, even when he looks like a human. This blending of human and dragon forms sets the tone for ALBAZ's shifting identity throughout the entire Branded saga, as its visual signal to viewers that his story is far from ordinary. Meanwhile, high above the city, Fleur-de-Lis is surveying the wreckage. The air is still filled with smoke and debris, and through the haze, she glimpses the dragon's silhouette. But just as she prepares to dive back in, a sudden shot of glowing blue energy slams into her from behind. She barely reacts in time, and her attacker is none other than Shreg, the ominous omen, the leader of the Tri-Brigade. And here's where things get spicy. Fleur immediately shouts at him, "You again," confirming that this isn't their first encounter. There's a history here and a prior conflict between these two amazing leaders of both clans that honestly hasn't been explored yet. The fight is brutal and both take heavy hits, and their helmets shatter from the force of their attacks. This is a direct visual reference to the Tri-Brigade Airborne Assault card art, which shows exactly this kind of aerial dogfight between Dogmatica and Tri-Brigade. This moment confirms what many fans have suspected, that the artwork in the cards is not just symbolic, it's canonical. We're seeing the exact moments here unfold in the anime as we have previously seen before. A delight. On the ground, in the alleys of Dogmatica, other key Tri-Brigade members are moving into position. We see Ferrijit, the Baron Blossom, acting as a sniper and a scout, alongside Rugal, the Silver Sheller. Ferrijit observes the sky battle above and notes that it looks like Shreg made his move, making it clear that this wasn't a chance encounter, it was a coordinated attack on the city of Dogmatica. She tells a subordinate to alert Nerval and begin the extraction. Now, if you remember in Episode 1, Nerval was already seen inside the city, possibly as an undercover agent or a surveyor. So this brings up two theories or two possibilities. One, the Tri-Brigade knew in advance that ALBAZ would be here. which is a bit less likely considering the fact that this mystical event was probably a matter of chance. Or the Tri-Brigade were already en route to release some of their tribe's members that were captured and held prisoner in the city of Dogmatica, being considered heretics by the church, and stumbled into this fateful adventure. Either way, it shows just how far ahead Tri-Brigade are thinking, and how seriously they're taking ALBAZ's presence in the city. Also a chance to get back at their enemies, the Dogmatica. Back in the city center, we see the Dogmatica Royal Guard assembled near the crater, and among them is Ashian, the stoic and commanding leader of the guard. He immediately orders Ecclesia to step back, insisting that they handle this heretic. Referring to Fallen of ALBAZ, of course. But here's the thing, despite being the captain of the Royal Guard, even Ashian refers to her as Ecclesia-sama, which is a Japanese honorific for a superior, showing just how much reverence her sainthood commands even from high-ranking officials. Ecclesia refuses to yield, and she knows what the church wants, but her heart tells her ALBAZ deserves a chance. And it's in that moment that things get really spicy. From the rooftops, the Tri-Brigade members take position, preparing to engage. It's a literal standoff between the Dogmatica soldiers and the Tri-Brigade warriors, taken straight from the card, Tri-Brigade Standoff. Besides the art, the card's secondary effect, that when it's destroyed, your opponent can't declare an attack that turn, lines up perfectly with what we see here. Ecclesia stands between both sides, preventing either one of them from attacking. She refuses to let this turn into a massacre, just like Tri-Brigade Standoff. Ashian, however, doesn't back down of this fight with Ecclesia. He condemns the Tri-Brigade as heretics without a stigmata, as they, unlike the Dogmatica, don't carry that mystical mark on their foreheads. And when Ecclesia still doesn't comply, he changes and takes action. He forms a diamond shape with his hands, channeling magical energy into a glowing portal, the same kind of portal we saw in episode 1 as ALBAZ fell from the sky as Titanic Lad. This is a direct reference to the card Dogmaticism, which is probably a wordplay on racism. Dogmaticism is an equip spell that strengthens Dogmatica monsters but weakens anything that doesn't bear their name. If you equip it to your Dogmatica monster, it gains attack, but if you equip it to a different monster that isn't Dogmatica, it suddenly loses. In this card, the effect and this action we see here reflects the strict and almost cruel ideology of the church: empower your own people, but condemn the rest. And here's the kicker, in this moment, Ashian treats Ecclesia herself as an outsider. The spell's power turns on her. Her stigmata erupts, and she collapses in agony. This is more than just a magical attack, it's symbolic. In the eyes of the church, Ecclesia is no longer one of them. And this is why this moment is so dramatic, both in the card lore and of course the anime. As Ecclesia collapses to the ground, ALBAZ suddenly springs to her defense. It mirrors what she did for him moments earlier. And then something extraordinary happens. Caught between Ashian's portal and Ecclesia's glowing stigmata, ALBAZ begins to transform again. But this time, it's not Titanic Lad, it is a new dragon form. He becomes Brigran, the Glory Dragon, a horned beast with a mark on its forehead that resembles the stigmata itself. This transformation is different. It's not intentional. It's not rage-fueled, it's reactive. Product of the moment, of the stress, the pain, the loyalty, and the connection to Ecclesia. And we're learning that ALBAZ's forms aren't just about powers, they're also about emotion, and they mirror the forces acting upon them. Brigran's design is bestial, with elements resembling both Tri-Brigade and Dogmatica, and it speaks volume to the scenario that it's taking place in. It's the fusion of both worlds, of both ideologies, and ALBAZ's inner conflict. But going a little bit deeper here with the tinfoil hat, Brigran's fusion materials require Fallen of ALBAZ and a level 8 or higher monster. The Tri-Brigades, though, don't have a monster with that level, but Dogmatica Ashian, on the other hand, is one. However, looking closer at Brigran, you can see some elements from a later part of the story. The golden horns that resemble bestial Druisworm, fur that resembles bestial Saranir, and the horns of bestial Baldrake, alongside blazing wings similar to Lubellion, the Syrian dragon, who is also a form of this story's future villain that takes place further down the story. This portal, opened by Ashian, or Ashian itself, is not what fuses with ALBAZ. It could be what's inside of that portal, deep in a parallel world, a certain level 8 monster that affects the story in a whole different way. As the Glory Dragon roars and cradles Ecclesia in his claws, the screen cuts to black, and episode 2 ends, but the war is just getting started. These were all the Easter eggs and hidden details you might have missed in The Fallen and the Virtuous episode 2 titled Dogmatica Fleur-de-Lis, The Knighted. Based on how much is being set up here, I really don't think 6 episodes is gonna cut it, and hopefully this means another season. If you want more branded lore breakdowns, I've got plenty of them on the channel already, but careful, there's spoilers there. Also, feel free to join our Discord server where we talk about branded, cards, lore, and of course, Yu-Gi-Oh! The link to that is in the description below, and it's completely free. If you want to get access to a members-only channel, you can pay for that by joining as a member of this YouTube channel. But regardless, you can just subscribe, like the video, and of course turn on the bell to know when the episode 3 breakdown goes live. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.